I'm David Scott. Thanks for watching tonight. We have breaking news on a major wildfire that took out several homes and forced hundreds to evacuate earlier today. And there's an arrest in the case. Now, we've got live team coverage for you tonight, tracking both the dangerous firefighting effort and what it was like for all those hundreds that had to evacuate. The fire broke out around 2 o'clock in the afternoon in West Oak Hill in the Scenic Brook neighborhood. That's near the ACC Pinnacle campus by the Y. They're calling it the Pinnacle Wildfire. It quickly spread to about 100 acres. Austin Fire Department tells us the fire destroyed 8 homes, damaged a dozen more. We start our live coverage with KXAN's Jared Wise, who's at the Austin Fire Department Command Center. Jared, this may have been a campfire, they say, that got out of control?
That's right. That's what they're saying at this time. And that campfire was apparently near Highway 290. That's the possibility. But also there has been a man arrested in connection with this fire as well. Now, the main part of this fire is out tonight. We're told there are still hot spots, and firefighters are still dealing with that at this hour. But Fire Chief Rhoda May Kerr gave a good perspective of how this fire traveled. She took a helicopter ride earlier this evening and said while one home was completely destroyed, 2 other homes right next to it look completely fine, and the home next to that completely destroyed. Now, we were also given a tour of the aftermath from the ground just over an hour or so ago ourselves. And here's what's left. Homes completely destroyed and others scarred by the fire as it blew through with winds around 30 miles an hour. Just a devastating scene. It's a sad situation for residents mainly in the South Brook, Scenic Brook, and Calbram neighborhoods just west of here. Now, crews are still monitoring the hotspots, as we said, and that's the main concern at this hour, trying to keep those burning embers from flying to other spots and resparking a blaze. Now, 200 homes are voluntarily evacuated. About 50 households were actually went to a nearby shelter. Many gathered in the neighborhood when the fires first started around 2 this afternoon. Police asking them to evacuate, but still some tried to stay behind and use garden hoses to keep their houses from getting burned. But it was a heroic effort by more than 100 firefighters who tried to contain the fire that scorched about 100 acres. 2 Starflight helicopters and even some massive C-130 tankers also fought from the air. Portions of Highway 290 and Highway 71 at the Y were also shut down at the peak of this fire. City leaders showed up and said it's one of the worst situations they've ever dealt with.
I have not seen a fire like this. This has been something we feared, frankly, because of the weather conditions, not only here but all over the state.
I wanted to remind everyone in the public to be vigilant and to please be careful and make sure that there is no open burning, and that includes barbecue grills and chimeneas, and make sure your cigarettes are extinguished, and just be really careful and be prepared to evacuate with the things that are really important should you have to do so at a moment's notice.
And the mayor also mentioned that getting the necessary resources was fine, but I mean, there was a little bit of a problem because of the ongoing battles with fires in other parts of the state. Now, the good news in all this is that there were no injuries. Many homes are still under evacuation. However, tonight, about 150 in all. The city has a list of those home addresses on their emergency operations website. We've actually set up a link for you on our homepage, KXAN.com. So if you're displaced tonight, check that website for more information. Now, KXAN's Doug Shoup has been talking to evacuees and has more information on shelters tonight. He's live at a nearby church and that has been taking people in. And Doug, it's a pretty scary situation for those neighbors.
Well, Jared, 158 homeowners are not being allowed back inside their houses tonight. And according to the Red Cross, 45 of them have registered for shelter here at Southwest Hills Community Church. So for now, the Red Cross says they will be activated until further notice. There was panic in people's voices.
This is the Austin Police Department. This is an order. You need to evacuate your house on Scenic Brook.
And fear in their faces.
We've got 3 dogs and a baby on the way, so we're ready. I'm nervous, yes.
Homeowners scrambled to get families, pets, and irreplaceable belongings out of homes ahead of the raging wildfire.
Just got some family heirlooms and stuff and threw it in both cars and got out.
Thick black smoke covered the streets and filled some homes.
My first instinct was to get out of there.
Many neighbors say they never worried about wildfires in a residential community like this before.
It is surreal. It's like on a Sunday afternoon, we're just out barbecuing and thinking we're going to have a nice little day and at the pool, and this is what happens.
Now they know it can happen anywhere.
It's scary. This year's been so dry.
The city and local Red Cross have set up numbers so that evacuees and their loved ones can get information on the recovery from this fire. The city emergency line is 974-6199. They say they'll put an updated message on that line every 30 minutes. The Red Cross wants people to call 928-4271 for information or to make donations. Reporting live in Southwest Austin tonight, Doug Shoup, KXAN Austin News.